Welcome to Inside the NFL, brought to you by Infinity. Congratulations to Saquon Barkley and Howie Roseman on winning the Super Bowl. And that's what it's like. When you win the Super Bowl, you just love everybody, at least everybody that is wearing your colors. We have Chris Long, Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, and the coach, Bill Belichick. I'm your host, RC. Now, listen, the week was great. It was very memorable. And so to commemorate those memories, we have a couple of pictures of what the week was like for some of us. Oh, look at us, man. The crew all in New Orleans at an event, you know, and we also had some people that had some run-ins with some famous guys. I mean, I got to chill out with Jelly Roll. Yeah. Right?
Jelly Roll's the man.
Coach was hanging out with some superstars, too, though. Here they go. Hey, together, this duo has 8 Super Bowl rings. All these run-ins seem extremely cordial and nice and could lead to beautiful relationships. The one that Chad had didn't seem so fun.
You gonna know when I lump your ass up. All right. Doing that. We can do it now in front of everybody. It don't make me none. It don't matter where I'm at.
6 months.
Run it.
You gonna be
run it. Just saying.
Hey, run it.
Hey, Coach, just from a coaching standpoint, let's just say a crack block. Would you motion Chad down in his prime to block prime James Harrison?
Sure.
Coach, I love you. Do you expect to win that block, Coach?
I don't have to win the block. I just have to stop him from making the play.
It's about sending a message. That's all.
That's it.
Hey, speaking of games that you're not supposed to win, or David versus Goliath, the Philadelphia Eagles came out and showed that there was no big favorite in this game, and the first half was an indication that they came to play.
Hey, no stone unturned, man. We coming in big, we come to dominate. That's it. One play at a time.
You go. You love it.
After 2 years, the wait is over. The championship rematch has arrived. There are no Cinderellas at this year's dance. The NFL's 2 best teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, are about to collide.
Let's make history. History. Don't stop now. One more last dance. Let's get it. We all we got, baby. Let's roll.
That's one sack. That's two.
I just done this shot.
Mahomes looking. He is thrown.
They've got him again.
This offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs flat out cannot block the Eagles' pressures, and they're bringing 4 men.
No score in the game. 6:49 to go in the opening quarter. Hurts lines them up. And the Eagles break the ice of Super Bowl 59. Mahomes hasn't seen many situations like this. It is 3rd and 16 for the Chiefs, facing the staunchest defense of the season.
The football down the far side is DeGene, and DeGene is in for a touchdown.
Cooper DeGene, a pick-6 interception by the Eagles ever in the Super Bowl.
Stay right here. Right here the whole time. Keep hot. Keep hot.
Is an unbelievable athlete.
All they're doing is giving up sacks and turnovers. Nothing birds.
Coach, what's some of the difficulties you face when you are playing in Super Bowl after Super Bowl, AFC Championship after AFC Championship, the way the Kansas City Chiefs have?
Well, first of all, it's a lot of games. If you go back to 19, when Kansas City played in the Super Bowl there, to now 24, that's 6 years. It's 7 seasons, really, when you include the postseason. So it's a lot of football. It's a lot of short off seasons. It's a lot of short off season surgery, rehabs. It piles up, and you know, these guys they've stood up to it, but you know, it was just a little too much for him against Philly.
But another thing that was very evident early on in that game, Chad, was that the Eagles' defensive line totally dominated KC.
Listen, I really had the Eagles already winning the game, but only by 3, because I felt as great as Mahomes is, he will be able to make something happen despite how good the Eagles' defensive line was. It's like having a car with no steering wheel. That's how bad I felt for Patrick Mahomes, because there's nothing you can do. You can't steer the car if your O-line is playing as bad as they were.
Josh Sweat, my rookie in 2018, I was so proud to see him start that party.
Yeah, if it was going to be a defensive guy that got the MVP, Josh Sweat's name would have been
awesome.
at the top of that list, along with my guy. Let's go back to week 4 and listen to what I said about starting nickel Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, the rookie from Iowa, as a guy who could play the slot. He was an outside corner there, but I thought he had skills that were fit for the inside. He had a little bit of lateral quickness and agility, but he also assessed and, like, with vision to break, he was a dude that could get the football. And so I see him as one of those guys that they can look at. I mean, listen, I'm not one of those guys, Coach, that's a me guy. You know, some would say I'm not even one of those I told you so's.
Some would say.
But I told you so. No, but I do think the Eagles identify some issues defensively and attack those things very aggressively in the offseason. And when you're looking at this entire defense, Chris, what are some of the players to you that stood out?
Definitely DeJean. When they made that turn to him in nickel, that was a big deal. But I want to shout out Vic Fangio. It really does help to have an elder statesman in the building, somebody who's been a head coach, and I think his addition was as big as any player in the game on Sunday.
But on the coaching staff, 2 new coordinators, new strength and conditioning coach. I thought this team was in very good condition, and they played hard all year, and that's something that really hurt them last year as they faded through the last third of the season.
When we come back, we'll have all the sights and sounds from the second half that are captured by NFL film. That Jaylen gave Saquon his flowers, especially in the game where he didn't necessarily have the gaudy rushing numbers that we've come accustomed to seeing, but Saquon did the dirty work, and when you can get your best players to do the dirty work, like picking up blitzes to give your quarterback extra time, those are the ways you win football games. Here you're going to see the blitz. That's his guy. He sifts through all the way to the right, keeps him off of Jalen Hurts, and that's how Jahan Dotson is able to give the double move to Jalen Watson. It's those little small things and those small pieces that allow players like Jalen Hurts to win Super Bowl MVPs. Quarterbacks don't do it alone. You like that Hurts passed them to a win, as opposed to some of these other games where it's been all about the run game.
Yeah, it's all been about Saquon during the regular season. A lot of people complaining he doesn't throw the ball 40, 50 times like other teams do, where those offenses are predicated in having their success that way. But it was good to see him have big plays where Saquon wasn't showing that he can have success on the ground, and Jalen Hurts quieting the doubters that says he can't win a game by throwing the ball. Obviously hitting AJ, Devontae, and Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
He answered the critics for sure. And 2 weeks ago, I got a chance to go in the locker room after the NFC Championship and walk down there. And I don't want to say this right after, but it was like a party, Coach. And I was like, man, this team is confident, and they should have been. But the quarterback is walking through the locker room like they just won a preseason game. His head is down. He's focused. And I'm not claiming to be his buddy. I've met him maybe twice. Shook his hand, said, go finish it. You know what he said to me? He said, it's already been written. And that was a bar. And you know what that was? That's between the ears. That's confidence. That's resolve. And I think that's his leadership, and the guys respond to that. But his offensive line, the common thread between these 2 Super Bowls, Jeff Stoutland and Lane Johnson, who in my opinion is a Hall of Famer, and this solidifies it. That entire group is incredible. You talk about a guy like Lane, who's probably the best offensive lineman on both of those teams, 7, 8 years apart. It's a great foundation to build your team around.
You know, Coach, when you think about this offensive line, it seems homegrown. I was thinking about my colleague Jason Kelsey and the fact that it would have been cool to see him play in this Super Bowl, but also for the Eagles, you're replacing a Hall of Fame center. How do you think Howie Roseman went about preparing this team for this moment?
Well, I mean, I think it was brilliant that, you know, Howie and Jeffrey, of course, is paying the bills. You know, he's drafted a lot of offensive linemen, but that's the heart of it. And, of course, getting Juergens to replace Kelsey was big. Got Becton as a free agent, got Barkley as a free agent, traded for Dotson, traded for AJ, you know, drafted the tight end, so drafted the quarterback. So it's a good combination of free agents, trades, and a lot of draft choices. Put it all together. They did a great job of controlling the ball, scoring points, controlling the game.
Yeah, absolutely. The Philadelphia Eagles seem built to last. And when we come back, we'll tap in with them as they celebrate their Super Bowl win. Motions of a Super Bowl celebration, the confetti falling, guys passing around the Lombardi trophy, the cheers, the tears, the hugs. Chad, just anything you want to contribute to this conversation?
You know, the fact that I've never had the chance to experience some of the things that you're talking about, everything you just named, I don't know what it's like. Now, I've won a Super Bowl on Madden. Now, that's a great feeling. There was no confetti because everything's inside. It's in the TV. But there's a feeling that I got that I can't share, an experience that you guys
you
felt.
and the console.
Yeah.
And the guy on the other side.
You know, since this segment doesn't fit me, I'm going to go prepare for football guys.
Okay.
We love you.
Yeah,
you are a football guy.
It's cool.
You know what the cool thing about being a football guy is? You actually don't have to win a Super Bowl to be one. We count you in as a football guy.
Appreciate it.
You're Chad Johnson, bro. I want to be Chad Johnson.
When I watch that video, I think about all the many individual celebrations that happen.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and we got to see Saquon's, though. Like, you got to see him and, you know, Howie Roseman at a point. You got to see him hug Nick Sirianni. And then he had his own moment by himself where you could see the emotion of winning the Super Bowl overtake him. And it's about the entire journey. Like, people think that you're celebrating the win of a game or the Super Bowl of one season, but you're celebrating your entire life's work along with the men around you, and I think that's an overwhelming feeling as well.
You take everybody with you on the field, all the guys you played with that didn't get to, the James Laurinaitis of my life who were with me in St. Louis losing all those games. And I'll never forget my little moment was Mike Waffle was my D-line coach in St. Louis for a long time. We had a great group, but we weren't winning a lot of games. And he used to say, my one prayer for you guys is to feel that confetti fall on your heads. And I used to dream about it. You know, just when I thought of the Super Bowl, all I thought about was that little piece of, those pieces of paper. And I'll never forget, 2 hours after the game, empty stadium, me and Rob Ninkovich, my stepbrother, we're on our hands and knees in an empty stadium out there with boxes of pizza, scooping up as much confetti as we could find.
I love that, bro.
And I still got it in a couple shadow boxes, and yeah, I'd give my ring away before I'd give that confetti away, because it meant something along my journey. Is exactly what you're speaking to.
Yeah, and to me, I remember that was the year after I got sick, the year after Sean Taylor passed, and everything for me was the Super Bowl. The fact that I got to play one play or one game or experience running onto the field as a starter again. And so I saw the entire season that way, and the sense of relief I felt when I got to lay down in the confetti, to really understand, to really take in that we had done it, that God had done it, that I had done it, man. And it was just one of those moments where the dreams of like a child become the dreams of, or become your reality, and you get to relish in that moment. But Coach, the other thing that happened to me before I got to lay in the confetti was I was about to have to throw hands with a security guard, because I'm trying to get my family to the field. And I was like, say, bro, even if you're not gonna let my family down, I know you're gonna let Troy's family down. And that was my way of getting my family on the field. Like, hey, that's Troy's wife and his son right there. Let them in. And like, Coach, that's kind of what people don't understand. There's this whole mess you're trying to organize and arrange while trying to celebrate with your teammates and your friends and your coaches on the field.
Yeah, and you're trying to find them, and everybody's, I don't want to say kind of on their own, but they're kind of on their own. As a head coach, you never really get to be with your team again after the game. It really, the last time is that halftime moment, which isn't a time to celebrate. I don't care what the situation is. So it's kind of melancholy. It's a little bit sad, really, that you never get that time with your team again. Probably the best opportunity is the parade, but it's still not quite the same.
The best part of the whole thing, I mean, the game's incredible, but the game is, it's like a blur. You're running on fumes and adrenaline. You get a couple nights sleep, and then you go to the parade. And I've never seen 1 million people in one place in my life. I mean, just the gravity of that situation, just being on that float and saying, they're here for us. And, you know, during the game, you're trying to win it, you're scratching and clawing, but when you're riding that float, you really can sit there and say, hey, like, I'm going to be alive another 50 years if I'm lucky. This is never going to happen again. I'm never going to have a feeling like this. This is the pinnacle of my life from a sports standpoint. The birth of your children, or, you know, getting married. It really is a day you can kind of soak it up. That's why I think the parade is so special.
Yeah, you know, Chris, it really hit me on the parade where you're always thinking about the guy on the other side of the field and competing against your opponent. And the parade, you realize how important your team is to that community and those fans. And when they come up and tell you how they watch the games with their father or their mother, or somebody took them to the game, or their family, they had the ritual of watching the game, and how much joy you brought to them that season. And you can see it in their faces that they really appreciate what you did for them and their family. It's the most powerful thing of all.
No, shagging beers and Fireball little bottles. The fans are throwing them out. It's pretty fun too.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is, and you know, because you said it's like the pinnacle of your life, and we always have to, you know, kind of make the addendum or say, hey, no, like outside of having my kids. But I always think to myself, it's the only thing I ever loved as naturally as I love my children.
Yes.
Right? Nobody had to tell me to love football. Yeah. And I think people who don't play our game, or people who don't coach our game, they don't realize how much it matters to us, how much we're willing to sacrifice for it. And to me, the parade was the first time I felt like people acknowledged that they said, hey, man, we know how important it is to you.
They threw you a party.
We want to show how important you are to us.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can ever get that feeling from any other thing that happens in our sport. I mean, bro, you dressed up for it.
Yeah, dressed up for it. I had the coat, so I get this fur coat here from like a costume shop. You throw it together because you sure don't plan before the game that you're going to win it. That's just bad luck. So scrambled for an outfit, and it turned out to be an outfit that people still bring up today.
Today, the bottom line is, son, we are the center of the football universe, and they got to live with the underdogs, baby, because we are the center of the football universe. Go Eagles, thank you.
Yeah. And actually, I got a text from a guy on the team the other night at about midnight and said, hey, let me borrow that coat. And I was like, I'll just make sure this isn't you drinking and that tomorrow you're not going to wake up and say it's a dumb idea. Right. I will bring it up this week when I come up for Inside the NFL. So I'm not going to tell you who, but you might see that coat again this week.
Man, I just thank both of you for sharing those stories, man. It brought me back to having an opportunity to live a dream and celebrate a dream. So it was great to sit with you and reminisce a little bit, Coach, about what we all accomplished and the people we got to share it with.
And thank you for giving me that dream. And I mean, like when I got to you, I was ready to hang it up. So you gave me that opportunity, the most special moment of my life.
Yeah, I think it's great that we get to share those things with you. And coming up next, we'll take a listen to the NFL, the somber moment for us all. Before he heads back down to Chapel Hill, Coach has one last game plan for us. Coach, the floor is yours.
Well, looking at the first half of the game, the Chiefs just had a hard time offensively. 1 first down, 23 total yards, 0 for 6 on third down, and only 10 minutes time possession. And a lot of that obviously had to do with the Eagles' defensive line. 4 guys inside, you know, Carter, Williams, Ajomo, and Davis. And then outside, you know, Sweat had a big day, Nolan Smith, Hunt, and Graham came in off injury reserve and gave him 13 plays as well. So they were always fresh. They were all very productive and just dominated the offensive line for Kansas City. So, you know, Coach Reed started the game out with some 7-man protection where he kept the tight end and the back end along with the 5 offensive linemen. And that really, you know, didn't work very well. You know, they couldn't handle the defensive ends as they come in and sack the quarterback here, and there's really nobody to throw to here. You know, just isn't any time or place to throw the ball in this play. Okay, so after that, it comes up 3rd and 16, long yardage situation, always a tough one for the offense. And what the Eagles did in this one is really a good idea here is they had the 2 linebackers covering the back. And so when Pirine comes out up here on the top side of the screen, the top side linebacker takes him, and the backside linebacker ends up being the spy, if you will, on Mahomes, so he can't run or extend the play. Really good coverage here by the Eagles. You know, Mahomes tries to stick it in there. DeJean makes a great play on the ball, you know, and a great return on the play.
And I think what's important is, like, the 2 plays that preceded this was sack.
Yes.
And, you know, it just adds to that desperation feeling of, I got to make a play myself.
Yeah.
You know, the running game wasn't great either. You know, this is a big hit right here. I mean, Nolan Smith, there was some questions about his ability to play the run. Not on this play. I mean, he wipes Trey Smith out. And again, here's a double team block, and this is very poorly executed here. They got two guys blocking one and don't get them blocked. And so, well, that's not a good look there for the running back. Checo, you don't want to see that.
People are going to watch film of Nolan Smith setting the edge, especially late in this season, and realize they're going to have to bow their necks, Chris.
No question. I mean, the book on him was he's undersized, but in a year's time, he gained a lot of strength. And more than anything, he just understands how to put his body in the right position and set edges.
Vic Fangio plays these ends out here wide, but they close space very quickly. And really, there's a lot more power and force when the defensive end comes in like this than when he's standing closer and just stands there. The ability of Smith here to constrict this space, play with good pad level, and really rocks one of the better guards in the league here. I mean, that's you can kind of see one team's ready to play, the other team's just not quite playing at the same level. And those are two good teams. I thought this was maybe the key play in the game, along with DeJean's interception. Second quarter, minute 49 before the half, down 17-0, which is bad. But if Kansas City could move the ball, get a field goal, take the ball to start the third quarter, maybe they could even cut it to a one-score game here with a double possession around the middle of the game. But this is a great rush here by Sweat as he uses his speed to power on the tackle. Knocks him back, and just as Mahomes is releasing the ball, Tooney gets knocked into him, and you can see that Brown Hollywood's going to come open here in this window, and maybe a chance for a big play, catch and run, certainly get him out of the hole here. Like, there's a good window right there to catch the ball, but as Mahomes gets hit, ball ends up going, and Zach Bond, who's had a great year, is a great pickup for the Eagles, makes a play on the ball, and now sets it up, and so it goes from 17-0 to 24-0 at the half.
Look, we talk a lot about sacks and numbers and that sort of thing, but sometimes it's these plays in a game where Sweat's not going to get anything but maybe a pressure. You know, this directly alters the throw and blows the game wide open.
Well, once again, that's a credit to, you know, Howie and Jeff Lurie on their philosophy of building through the defensive line, drafting in the offensive line, and having a lot of depth at those two positions and never coming up short there really paid off for them. Well, fellas, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed being with you this year on Inside the NFL. This is a great year for me, and I appreciate you welcoming me in.
Nah, Coach, it was amazing. I mean, the second year being with you guys, I thought the show got better. The chemistry was amazing. We became friends. And, Coach, I just want to say, and I said this to a lot of people throughout the year, I respect you so much for continuing to be here each and every week, for showing up prepared, for doing your absolute best for this show, with having so many other responsibilities. I think it taught me a lot about being a man of your word. And I so want to say thank you. Best of luck as you head back to Chapel Hill.
Coach, thanks a lot. I want to echo the sentiments of what Ryan said. I mean, you didn't have to do this the entire year. And you were a lot of fun, man, just like you were when you were coaching. I don't think people realize that. You two made my day fun, never boring. Thanks for kicking my ass in football, guys. And what a year, guys.
Hey, Coach, obviously you know how I feel about you. I appreciate you. We've been friends for a very long time. We had some great battles, and it's good to be on the same team once again for once. Obviously, you coming in, prepared, you know, being prepared always, being very insightful, allowing the people to see the other side of Belichick. You know, this is the side I got to see, but now the world has got to see the personality, the fun side of you, and it's been a joy. It's always been a joy. Anytime I have a chance to work with you, obviously, Ryan, you know how I feel about you, Chris as well. You know, being with you guys for a second year, the chemistry, the aura, the energy, the passion for the game of football has been great. I'm excited, you know, for the future for us. Bill, I'm excited for you and your tenure and endeavors over at UNC. I'm going to be visiting because I would like a pair of Jordan too.
Chad, you and Ryan are both welcome down there. Chris, we'll see you at Virginia.
Take it easy on us, Coach.
I'm going to say this, Coach. It was great to finally get to know the man behind the hoodie.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn mọi người gấp một con bướm có màu xanh lá cây như thế này nha. Bây giờ chúng ta cùng nhau bắt tay vào làm thôi. Để bắt đầu vào làm thì đây mình có chuẩn bị một tờ giấy màu xanh này. Mình sẽ cắt ra đây là hình vuông nha. Sau đó giờ mình sẽ gập nếp lại nha. Đây, mình sẽ gập thành cái nếp vuông này. Tiếp nha. Đó là mình sẽ gấp chéo này. Ở đây mình có 6 đường nhé. Đó thì mình sẽ được một hình như thế này. Rồi mình sẽ gập ngang lại này. Đó. Sau đó mình sẽ gập tiếp vào nha. Tiếp này. Tiếp cạnh này nha. Đó, như vậy là mình đã gập được 4 nếp như thế này. Tiếp một cái nữa nha. Rồi mình sẽ gập phần này lại nha. Sau đó mình sẽ gập xuống này. Tiếp vào phần này nha. Sau đó mình sẽ gập hai cái nếp này lại luôn. Làm tương tự với đầu bên này nhé. Sau đó mình sẽ gấp lại này. Sau đó mình sẽ úp lại và gặp tương tự nha.